Hey, JMC 6000 here. And the reason why I'm here is I want to talk about the latest recall on the Ford Maverick. Just dropped last week. And here it is right here. If you may not know what it is, you can go on the Maverick forums, kind of dig some information about this recall. But I'm going to list it right here. It's safety recall 23S27. It was listed on May 31st, and today is, I don't know, the 7th. Yes, today is May 7th. I believe this video is dropped on. Anyway, this affects the Corsair, the Escape, and the Maverick. 2021 to 23 Corsair, 2020 to 23 Escape, and 2022 to 23 Mavericks, all with the 2.5 liter HEV or even the 2.5 plug-in hybrid if we're dealing with the Escape and the Corsair. So the reason for this safety recall is isolated engine manufacturing issues can cause the engine to fail prematurely. In the event of an engine failure, engine oil and or fuel vapors may be released underneath the hood and may migrate to or accumulate near ignition sources, increasing the risk of fire or injury. Engine failure is expected to produce a loud noise and audible to the vehicle's occupants. The engine failure will also result in a reduction in available engine power. No duh. And letters are going to be sent to owners, and Ford will advise customers to safely park and shut off the engine as promptly as possible upon hearing unexpected engine noises. After experiencing a reduction in available engine power, or if smoke is observed emanating from the engine compartment. Here it is, service action. Do not demonstrate or deliver, and it says this in big, bold letters. Do not demonstrate or deliver any new in-stock vehicles involved in the safety recall. And the only way you're going to know that you're involved in this safety recall is you check your VIN number with, I believe there is a Ford dedicated website where it talks about recalls. You put your VIN number in this Ford website, and it actually populates if your vehicle's in this recall or not. So not all vehicles, not all Maverick hybrids or all Escape or all Corsair hybrids are affected by the recall. Unfortunately, mine is. We'll go into that here in a little bit. And then it says, a complete dealer bulletin will be provided to all dealers in the fourth quarter when it is anticipated that a remedy and a repair instruction will be available to support the safety recall. And then it says important, dealers should open a repair order only when a full dealer bulletin is published. Opening a RO against an awareness or an advance notice will result in warranty rejections against a recall. Customers, what are you supposed to do as a customer? Owners of recorded recalls will be notified via first-class mail after the remedy and repair instructions have been provided to dealers. So, in all honesty, this recall that was just issued by Ford is just kind of a first awareness. The full repair and remedy is not coming out for the next several months. In fact, this recall says the fourth quarter, so we're probably looking at October, November, maybe at the latest December time frame of this year. And once it's released to dealers, then individuals are going to be getting first-class mail in letters from Ford about this safety recall and what needs to be done. Now, Ford had a similar recall that was done way back, almost a year ago, about possibly engine-related fires with the Maverick Hybrid. Supposedly, in the Maverick Hybrid, where they built a 2.5 liter down in Mexico, I cannot pronounce the name of that Mexican city. I think it's Chubila. Anyway, it begins with a C. Somebody help me with that pronunciation. Anyway, where they built this 2.5 liter, there was a batch of crankshafts that were mismilled, or they were not milled correctly. And what was happening was, with those batch of crankshafts, about, I think it was like 300 or so. Anyway, out of those, some of those were causing catastrophic engine failure, because once you ruin the crankshaft, I'm sorry, not the crankshaft, but once you ruin the, Jesus help me, the connecting rod, and once you ruin the bearings in the connecting rod and it starts to wear prematurely, that's going to cause excessive wear not only on the crankshaft, on the connecting rod, and on the bearings themselves. And once that, once it spins a rod bearing, then it can catastrophically detach the rod and it'll actually go through the block. And that's what Ford is afraid of. I thought Ford already addressed this, and most of the addressing has been done last year. This new recall, though, is actually addressing concerns around, I believe, not only the crankshaft that a bad batch were done and milled incorrectly, but also the engine manufacturing plant in Mexico that built the 2.5 liter. Now, let me preface this with a little bit of background. Personally, I haven't had any issues with my 2.5 at 55,000 miles. This engine's been flawless. This engine has been great. Haven't had any weird noises or anything like that. Every once in a great while, I think this may have happened twice to me, I would experience a hybrid shudder where the engine shuts off and there's a shudder in the drivetrain as the engine is shutting down, and you may be still rolling, especially at low speeds. But I won't experience that maybe twice out of 55,000 miles. I know some experience it more, but really this engine is great. So let's give a little background of the 2.5, and then we'll kind of close out this video. So for a while, Ford has been building it. I think ever since about 2019, Ford has been building this 2.5 liter. Now, this engine itself, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. This engine originally dates back to 2009 rather, is when Ford and Mazda kind of came up with this engine. In fact, all it is I believe, a stroked version of the 2.3 that was out before. And that engine dates its roots back to the Mazda MZR L 4-cylinder series design engines. Mazda discontinued those engines back in 2011 in favor of the Sky Active technology that came out in 2012 and 13. But Ford, when Mazda and Ford split apart after the, I don't know how else you want to call it, the Great Recession of 08, of 09, whatever you want to call it, the market smackdown, whatever. When Ford and Mazda split apart, Mazda was like, hey, you can keep the rights to this 4-cylinder that we've already developed for you. And Ford was like, okay, we're going to turn it into the EcoBoost. We're going to turn it into our main hybrid powertrain. And they also turned it into the base motor that was in the Focus, that's in the current Transit Connect. So a lot of engines have been spawned off of the old Mazda MZR L series 4-cylinders that Ford and Mazda kind of collaborated on. Again, this engine dates its origins all the way back to 2001 rather. So the engine design that this is based off of is very old, but it's very tried, very true. In fact, you talk to many Ford mechanics, they say one of the best 4-cylinders, one of the most reliable 4-cylinders that Ford actually makes is the 2.5 liter. Not the 2.3, not the 2 liter, but the actual 2.5 liter. There's some magic in this engine that Ford and Mazda actually co-developed and actually really did a fantastic job building some amazing reliability in this engine. Flash forward to today. Now this engine is built in that factory in Mexico, at least for a while. I believe what's been happening is there's been some questionable reliability concerns going on with the factory in Mexico. And if you look at my shorts on YouTube here, it will be about almost a week ago when this video posts, is I was able to film a brand new hybrid sitting on a Ford lot waiting to be sold. In fact, it's a special order waiting to go out. And the engine itself doesn't say Mexico on the source from where it's made. It actually says the US. So sometime recently, Ford actually switched over the 2.5 from being made in Mexico, now being made right here in the States. Again, about quality. Ford is trying to up their quality, they're trying to up their game, and I think part of that is trying to change the way they build their engines, they build their transmissions, different things of that nature. So I'm kind of happy for that. Unfortunately, my engine is made in Mexico, but I haven't had any issues. It's actually been bulletproof, it's been reliable, and we're going to see what this fix is. I will keep you guys up to date and informed about this recall, what the remedy is, what the fix is. As soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. I will say this. If Ford is like, hey, we got to take apart, the engine and we got to drop the oil pan and everything to expect the rod bearings, I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. Because there's so much involved in just dropping the oil pan. It's not just a simple drop in the oil pan. The engine, the whole engine, transmission, and cradle has to go down. The valve cover has to come off. The timing case has, the front timing cover has to be split apart. And then it has to drop the oil pan. Part of the transmission bolts have to come out. All to get to oil pan, all to inspect rod bearings to see if there's premature wear. I don't think so. I'd rather take a chance with the engine and do all that instead of you splitting apart my engine and then have to put it all back together and then having a chance for it to leak as a result. And, if that's going to happen, then give me a long block instead of taking my engine apart. Anyway, we're going to see what Ford does. What I'm thinking Ford is probably going to do is probably extend the warranty on the 2.5 liter engine. They probably just extend a warranty for anybody who may be affected by this recall, which I am one of them. So I'm kind of anxious to see what they're going to do regarding how they're going to handle this recall and what it's going to take to fix it. Anyway, stay tuned for more Maverick videos. This is a JMC 6000. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I upload every single Wednesday morning. I have a brand new 4-cylinder I'm going to be bringing to you next week from the Ford family that nobody knows about. In fact, it's already in sale in vehicles right now. Nothing related to the old MZR Mazda design. So stay tuned for that video. Subscribe. That's going to be dropping next Wednesday morning. All right, you guys be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.